of what Trump spoke about yesterday. But also the US FDA has accepted Biocon and Mylan's application for the proposed biosimilar of a breast cancer drug. Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, the CMD of Biocon, is with us now. Kiran, good morning. First, your thoughts on what Donald Trump had to say overnight, that, pharma companies are getting away with murder. Of course, that was his view. Your first thoughts on that? Kiran, good morning. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, Kiran, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Kiran, we'll talk about your, breast cancer drug approval.
Yeah.
But before that, your thoughts on what Donald Trump had to say yesterday.
Oh, I didn't even hear what he had to say. Yeah.
No, he said pharma companies are getting away with murder.
Okay. Okay.
No, does that worry you at all?
Well, I think the pharma companies in the U.S. have, been irresponsibly raising their prices. And I think this is certainly something of great concern to everyone. And I think one thing that the Indian pharma companies can certainly not be accused of is raising prices in a big way. I think Indian generics have actually done a lot to contain and bring down drug prices in the U.S. And I think the whole approach of the Indian pharma sector is to basically address rising drug prices in the U.S. market. So I think we are actually, hopefully, in favor with Donald Trump's views.
Okay. The other two statements that he made, Ms. Shaw, one is with respect to the bidding for these veteran army contracts, and the other one is with respect to the negotiations as far as Medicare is concerned. How would you react to those two statements?
I think it's long overdue that, the government is allowed to negotiate drug prices for Medicare, because I think it just doesn't make sense that when you're looking for bulk procurement, that you're not legislatively allowed to even negotiate for prices. It doesn't make sense. So I think I completely agree with Trump's view. This is long overdue.
Okay, so that might be a sentimental negative or even a practical negative for the generic suppliers in India?
Well, what you're talking about is really the veteran sector, but I don't think that these are going to be big issues, because if Indian pharma companies are basically, supplying these products for the U.S. markets, and there are no U.S. suppliers, which in many cases is true, I think this doesn't affect Indian pharma companies.
Okay. Kiran, let's talk about this drug now, that your partnership with Mylan and the US FDA accepting the application. How big is the potential for this drug?
This is a huge potential, because this is a breast cancer drug, as you know. And again, this is really about very expensive treatments which we are trying to address by coming out with biosimilars. And because this is the first we've got the first to file status, not that it gives us the kind of advantage that generics have, but the fact is we could be the first biosimilar trastuzumab launched in the U.S. market. The market opportunity for trastuzumab is pretty attractive. It is around $7 billion globally. And I think, this will make a big difference to cancer patients in the U.S. Biocon and Mylan would love to make that big difference to patients who actually need this particular drug. We have actually been making a huge difference to patients in developing economies, like India and other countries.
But Kiran,
and we have
this
significantly brought down the prices of this particular drug.
Fair point, but Kiran, this is a license application. How long does it normally take for the drug approval and marketing?
So it could be anywhere between 18 months we hope it is going to be less than 18 months is what our hope is. And the fact that they've accepted our file is actually big news, because, it means that the file is complete, the file is acceptable, they've begun the review process. So it's all very, very positive news for us.
So with this, your biosimilar portfolio has kick-started on a positive note, especially in the US market. So what kind of growth can you expect from this portfolio over the next, say, 1 to 2 years?
As you know, this has been our clear-cut strategy for the last several years. We have identified biosimilars as a very large growth trajectory for the company. And we have also indicated that we expect these kind of revenues to start kicking in from FY19 onwards.
But Kiran, how is the trajectory? Is it exactly like it is in the non-biosimilars that after a couple of trials you can actually commercially, sell it off to others or rope in other manufacturers? Do you get money even ahead of the 18 months?
Well, we've been licensing this particular drug in many, many emerging markets, okay? And as far as we are concerned, Mylan is our commercial partner. Mylan will be front-ending this particular marketing and distribution efforts for trastuzumab. And, Mylan is a very successful marketeer of generics and now biosimilars. So we are very confident that we will get a pretty decent share of the available market.
Okay, Kiran, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and all the best for this year. Of course, your stock has done well and created a lot of